were in the mid to high 90s every day, and now it's like high 80s or 90. It seems like maybe a little bit in the 90s, but it's cooler than it has been. So
Gotcha. Yeah, so I just read today that it's snowing in northern Minnesota.
it's snowing, really.
Hey, I texted Andy. I go, it's snowing in northern Minnesota. He said, "Oh yeah." I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
boy, oh boy, which means we're not far behind.
Yeah. Don't y'all normally get the weather that they get?
Usually, yeah, northern Minnesota is a little bit more towards the Upper Peninsula. So we're
Gotcha.
actually a little further south than Minneapolis is. So a little further south than where Andy is.
Gotcha.
So we're almost directly across from Milwaukee.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep, yep. And then Minneapolis. So if this is Milwaukee, Minneapolis is like up here. So actually, Minneapolis is directly across from Traverse City, and Traverse City is about 2.5 hour drive north from here.
Okay,
So yep,
gotcha.
it's close to where we were this weekend. We were up at our cabin this weekend, so we're about an hour away from Traverse City that yesterday.
Okay. Did y'all have a good holiday weekend?
Yeah, it was really good. We just sat and relaxed and watched a bunch of movies and grilled out at the cabin. Yeah, had a good time. Went down to look for salmon in the river, but I don't think they made it to the upper stream. I just heard today one of my kids, he fishes the same river that we have our cabin on. He said, "Yeah,
Yeah,
they're in the lower branch, not in the upper branches yet." So I'm like,
gotcha.
okay. Does that sound clear?
Yeah, it sounds good. I'm just working on getting our live feed going to the YouTube real quick.
Gotcha. So I was trying to eliminate the echoey sound, and so I
No,
had the
it
had
sounds
the
good.
extra mic. So I thought, I'll try this in the meeting and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I
I
got
like
a couch chat set up right behind here, so I'm in the same room as where I usually film the couch chat. So
yeah, I recognize I
yeah,
recognize the wall back there.
yeah. So instead of I'm obviously in a corner, so
Yeah. I would like to be able to move my setup to this red chair behind me. It's way more comfortable than this chair I normally sit in. I need to find a way to make that work because I'm getting tired of sitting in this chair every week.
right. So in ours, we got like they're high chairs, they're higher bar chairs, stools,
Yeah.
and so that's what we sit on when we do the couch chats, and then we just hook the microphones up to like a TV tray and extend the arms. So like
Yeah.
this one's hooked up to like a little end table next to me,
Yeah.
and I just extended the arm. So
Yeah, I need to get a little table or something next to it and then figure out a way to put my camera and computer and all the other stuff in front of me where you can't see it. So that would be ideal. I got my neighbor, he has a tabletop that I was hoping to create something like that out of, but neither I haven't had the inspiration and he hadn't had the time to make anything happen with it. So we'll see if that goes anywhere eventually. But
yeah, exactly. So yeah, we were eventually this was our office when I remodeled the whole thing. We were planning on this just being the office, but then we started looking at, we're like, man, let's just turn it into a studio. So that's what we're doing. So
yeah.
Mike set up in here, and we talked about getting one of the studio lights. So I don't know if I really even need it. So they're
Yeah.
not, and they're not terribly expensive. So it wouldn't, they're only
Yeah.
like 20-30 bucks or something.
I need to get a light for like my face for these shows and everything because a lot of my guests, especially if I record, in the evening time when it's late, a
Right.
lot of my guests' face are lighter than mine, and I don't like that. And I have a light that I used a few episodes, but when you start recording podcasts that last an hour or an hour and a half, it dies on you. So you
Yeah.
just get darker
Yeah, I
as the
know.
episode goes on.
And so yeah, so we had talked about, well, Heather. So I was doing a test with the mic, so I set up a Google Meet real quick with Heather, and she said, "Yeah, everything looks fine except you look a little darker." So she brought it in here, and we looked at it, and it did. It looked like it was a little darker here behind me, but Zoom, I don't know if Zoom is the same way or if it's different. I don't know. So I
Yeah.
guess we'll have to wait and see, huh? Because it definitely looked different on her phone than it did on my computer. So
Yeah. No, and that's what's interesting. Like I'm monitoring the YouTube feed over here for the live chat
mhm.
and like looking at it on there, it always looks a little different than it does just right here in the
Right.
little chat room that we're in. So
Sounds good.
Well, if you're ready, we'll just kick this thing off and keep it casual like we always do and
Yeah.
talk.
So, sorry, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna do the syncing thing, but so
No, no, go ahead.
I was trying to explain that to Heather, and you said you have just a sound box, right?
So I don't do it for podcasts on Zoom because when I record podcasts on Zoom, Zoom has its own audio that's synced up with that video.
Okay.
So I don't have to sync anything up. Now, if I do like an in-person podcast where I have my camera set up to film guests and everything, and then I'm using my every episode, I still use my external recording system I have set up to the side over here. And whenever I use that with cameras for a lot in-person episode, though, that's when I have to do the classic clap and sync and
Right.
everything to marry the audio and the video up in the editing room because they're
Gotcha.
not there's no program to do it for me. But Zoom, when we do it virtually, I don't have to worry about it because it comes together on Zoom already. So
Gotcha. Yeah. So you probably saw. I don't know if you saw the last couch chats. You'll see the two versions. You see the computer version that's really kind of fuzzy, and then you see, and that's what we used for our audio. And
yeah,
then we filmed with our we got the video from our phone. So and I
yeah,
said, okay, we gotta have one clap. And Heather goes, okay. I'm like, wait.
yeah, I'll get that.
You
We'll get
can't
that
say
edited here coming up either I don't know, either tomorrow or Thursday. I think we're dropping at the end of the week is what I have on the schedule. So we'll get it out to everybody this week. But
and then I got one phone call out to a guy, just waiting to hear back. Actually, him and his wife, they're both big hunters. They work at the park with us, and so
mhm.
he does a lot of outdoor photography and stuff like that, and sponsored by some pretty big. He gets like a new UTV every year. Like he
Oh,
just got
really?
one with all the bells and whistles on it. I'm like,
Nice.
jeez. So anyway,
That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
so, yeah, we got some people lined up. So Cass sounds like he's coming this month too. So
Nice. Yeah, that'd be a good one too.
yeah.
Well, unless you got any questions, the YouTube's going, so I'll kick
Yeah.
off the regular episode and we'll dive into this thing.
Sounds good.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another Fall Obsession podcast episode driven by our friends over at Hoot Camo, just like the shirt that Todd is wearing right now. My name is Sam, hosting you guys. And as I just mentioned, Todd is with me, our staff manager here at Fall Obsession, joining me for another podcast. Welcome back, Todd.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for having me. And we always have a hoot when we're together.
Oh, yeah. Always have a hoot. There we go. A little play on words right there for sure. It's good stuff.
Throw that in.
Yeah, you have to. Got to give them the little shameless plug. But is that the new guide shirt that they
That's a
have? Is
new
that what
guide
you're wearing?
shirt. Yeah, that's one that
What do you think of that thing?
really comfortable. It's really thick, really durable. Yeah, it's really comfortable. So I didn't know because I'm not like a big collared shirt guy, but I
Yeah.
threw it on and and I'm not a collared shirt guy because sometimes they flap out and they look kind of awkward. But this is, like I said, nice and tight. You really can't even in the video, can't even really see it
No,
as
it's
much.
all camoed up.
Right, right,
You can't tell. No,
right.
I got a couple of them here recently as well. I think I have the same camo one, and then I also got one of their like the red ones. They have the ones with like
Yep.
the Texas pattern and everything on them and everything. And man, I love it as well. It's a very comfortable shirt, like you just said. It breathes really well, I feel like.
Exactly.
And I actually I've actually been wearing them to church. Like they showed up and my wife was like, "Man, those are nice. You could actually wear those to church if you want
Exactly.
to."
Exactly. I might wear this to school tomorrow. I got a
Yeah,
football
it
game, so I might have to, but we'll see.
yeah, they're pretty stylish. I was actually wearing that red one when I went to the Texas Trophy Hunter show couple 2 3 weeks ago, and I had just walked through the door and was like walking down the first aisle, and I hear somebody behind me like, "What's going on, man?" I turn around and it's Steven, one of Hoot's owners, that's standing
Oh,
behind
okay.
me. He was like, "Man, I was wondering who was wearing one of our shirts walking walking through the field and everything." So yeah,
Surprised you
pretty.
can see me.
I know you're almost invisible.
But
Uh,
yeah, the first thing that stuck out was how thick and how durable it seems. But at the same time, I thought if I'm going to put it on, I might be sweating my butt off, but I'm really not. Like you said, it's very breathable. And it's
yeah,
very, very comfortable. And
yeah.
you could even sleep on this thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very pleased with them. Just like always, Hoot Camo coming through with a stellar product again. So, I know we have an ad somewhere in this episode for Hoot, but
Sure.
I'll give them an additional plug since we're talking about it. You guys can use the code Fall Obsession 15 at checkout and save you a little bit of money and get geared up for this fall hunting season that's coming up. So, can't
And
go wrong with some Hoot Camo.
did you see Anthony's order today?
I did, yeah. Anthony's looks like he's getting geared up and everything, which is awesome to see. Steven told me he's like, man, this has been one of their like busiest summers ever, and I
Good.
mean, rightfully so, right? They're a new company, only 3, 4 years old, and a growing company, right?
Yeah.
You want every year to be better than the year before, and he was just like, man, there's so many people that are repping their stuff, and he said that one thing that's really that they're proud of is they have a big customer base that is returning customers. He's
Yeah.
like, we have a lot of people that order from us like 2, 3, 4 times. He's like, that just to us reflects the quality of the products that we're putting out if people are coming back and getting more, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And I think it's really exciting when we get some of our staffers to use some of our partner products, and then use them out in the field and create the content that we look for, highlighting our sponsors and our partners like Hoot Camo. And so I thought it was really exciting when he was showing us those pictures. I'm like, oh, it's Christmas already.
yeah, yeah, I love it. Mail
Yep.
call from Hoot is always a good day. But yeah, everybody check them out and stuff. I do want to mention for people tuning in live, we are live on YouTube right now.
Yep.
So if you are catching the live show, be sure that you throw something in the comments for us in the chat section. Hit us up, ask questions, topic suggestions. If we see it while we're on here, like I said, we're monitoring it we see it while we're on here, we'll discuss it during the episode. Feel free, or just give us a shout, say hi, whatever the case might be. But I wanted to take the opportunity to have you on, Todd. Kind of,
Yep.
we've been talking about Hoot and other stuff, and that's normally how our conversations go. But one, it's been a
Right.
minute since we had you on here. I went back and looked at our podcast episodes, and you and Andy came on
Oh, yeah.
for episode 231 to talk about that goose hunt that you had up there last year.
Yeah. North
And
Dakota. Yep.
yeah, and then before that, it was 211. We
Uh,
had you on last season to kind of talk about fall whitetail hunting and everything that you had going on up
yep.
there at the time. So, been a minute since you were on here. It's kind of a milestone episode. It's 250,
Oh
so
yeah. There you go.
kind of cool that we got 250 of these things online now. So
Yeah.
that's pretty exciting. But yeah, I wanted to start just by kind of checking in with you up there in Michigan and
Yeah.
seeing what your kind of outlook moving into the fall of 2025 is looking like up there.
It's everything seems to be breaking early, it seems like I just mentioned to you, Sam, that northern Minnesota is supposed to be getting snow in the next few days. And
Yeah.
not just a little bit of snow, they're talking about quite a bit of snow. That's very unusual for this time for any Midwestern state. And I asked Andy, I go, is this true? Or is this kind of one of those things on Facebook that you're like, maybe we should fact check this? He goes, no, this is absolutely true. We're supposed to be getting some snow. And I'm like, oh boy, that usually heads right to Michigan. But Sam and I were talking prior to starting the podcast. Where I live, we're probably about, if you go straight across from Minneapolis, it's right about the Traverse City, Michigan area, and we're about 2.5 hours south of Traverse City. So, um, where the snow is supposed to hit, it's supposed to hit even further north, so that would push it up in the Upper Peninsula. So, but still, that's really early. I've read reports, a couple of weeks ago, even that the migration was in full swing already, and
Really?
that's early. Yeah, that's early, but it's also good for us because the last time we went on a crane hunt, which we're doing again this December with Tyler, who does a great job as the event host, and Mark's going to be with us, and Kess is going to be with us, one of Kess's friends. Heather's coming down. But the last time we went, it ended up turning into a goose hunt because the goose were just they were taking all the crane away from us. They would the goose were coming in to decoy with the crane, and then the crane would meet up with them and take off. And so it ended up turning into more of a goose hunt than it was a crane hunt. So, and that was because the migration happened so late that the geese were just getting down there. Where typically they've already been through the area, they've already migrated through the area, and that's the winter ground for the crane. Yeah, so everything's happening early, you know. Um, so the outlook is I'm not sure what's going to happen. I can tell you, we had this conversation in our campfire chat last week about, um, the deer already, which is typical. I mean, you could see some deer shedding their velvet right now, but when I was up with Andy up in North Dakota back in, I think it was late March, early April, we saw some deer with antlers still on. They hadn't shed their antlers yet.
Yeah.
That's very uncommon. Typically, they shed right around the second or third week of February. This
Yeah.
was end of March, beginning of April, and we saw deer still with their antlers on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's kind of weird. The other thing that was brought up, and I've seen too, are typically this time of year you see bachelor groups of bucks. We're not really seeing that. We're seeing single bucks already going after does.
Really.
And yeah, they're showing quite a bit of pre-rut activity already. And we still have, well, I mean, we still have a full month technically before archery kicks off, but our youth hunt is right around the 12th, 13th, whatever that weekend is. And then we
Mhm.
have the early doe season around the 20th, 21st of September. So it's in a couple weeks, but still, it's pretty early. I mean, it's for to have a season that early in the month of September, typically you would have an opportunity to shoot a buck in velvet. I'm not sure if that's going to happen this year, but it's crazy on how, again, they're showing that pre-rut activity. So again, what's going to happen when the typical rut, the peak of the rut comes along?
Mhm.
Are we going to have to plan a week or two ahead? What are we going to have to do? And so, my philosophy is always, even with all the technology we have with Tacticam, we use Tacticam on our property or
Yeah. Same.
cell cams anywhere. My philosophy has always been, you can't get any greater intel than having your butt in the stand, sitting out in the woods, sitting for, a period of time to be able to understand what the deer are doing, to be able to understand the behavior that's going on that season, to be able to understand, where their travel routes are and the typical things that you look for. Because there are a lot of things that happen outside of the camera, outside of the camera frame, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. And of course, I'm just talking about deer hunting at this point, but we did kick off Canadian goose season started yesterday, actually. I know Aiden has been out trying to hammer some geese. He's also been
Oh
out
yeah.
getting doves, and he's sending a couple, some really good content with the doves and stuff.
He's big into the bird hunting for sure.
For
For
sure, yeah.
sure. Birdman in Coopersville right there.
Yeah, exactly. And I know ducks are going to be, ducks are going to be on out here pretty soon too. So I know Mark and Aiden want to get together with Heather and I, and we actually they had talked about going over to the other side of the state to do some waterfowl hunting with ducks and stuff. And up in
Awesome.
Minnesota, I know Andy just hammered a bunch of Canadians, so Canadian geese that is. So don't
Yeah,
want
let's
don't want
specify real
yeah,
quick.
don't want people to misinterpret that.
Yeah, Andy would be the guy that you would misinterpret that about. So, yeah,
So yeah, so the seasons are kicking off. I know. I think
it's
Cass
good,
actually
man.
mentioned that he was going out on Labor Day to hunt with Tyler to do some
Oh,
dove
really?
hunting. Yeah, yeah. So I
Awesome.
haven't heard anything how successful they were, but he mentioned that last week in our campfire chat that he was headed out to Kansas with Tyler to do some dove hunting. So
Gotcha. Yeah, for anybody tuning in that doesn't know like who all these people are that Todd's referencing, these are all
concept.
members of our Fall Obsession team, our hunt staff and everything that we have here. And yeah, the Midwest is certainly one of our strong regions. We got a lot of people that are actively involved and participating in a variety of different things out there with you guys.
Yeah.
And I say your neck of the woods in the states surrounding you, right? Some of
Yeah.
y'all are a couple states apart, but yeah, it's always good to see that Midwest community growing and everything and
Hmm.
maturing out there for sure. But yeah, the season's here, man. It's hard to believe we're
Already.
um,
Best time of
yeah,
the year.
I'm definitely tuned into the reveal cell cams right now and
Yep.
trying to see what's going on. So far, actually this morning, Nick sent me a picture from one of his cameras of the second buck that is probably a shooter buck. He only got one shot of him. But up till then, we've only had one buck on camera so far. And I know there's
Right.
more out there we just hadn't seen
Right.
yet, but one buck for sure that's like, oh yeah, he's a shooter. And then we have another buck that just popped up kind of farther south of the area this first deer's been roaming. So
Sure.
um, yeah, we're starting to get a peek at what's out there a little bit better and gauging our efforts for fall. So
Yeah,
um,
exactly. I
yeah,
can tell you, I am pretty optimistic because I did the my number one target buck last year. I called him Pitchfork just because he had at the end his tips just pitched out and looked like a pitchfork. Actually, on one side he had three that popped up and looked like a pitchfork. Showed up on video again.
oh
So
really?
yeah, he showed up in video probably beginning of August or so. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Pitchfork. That's when I was after last year, and I thought he was about a 3.5, maybe 4 year old last year. So that puts him at the 4 or 5 year old range. So I'm pretty excited about that. And like I said, though, back in July, I would get a couple bucks at a time coming through. I haven't had that since that time. So I've been getting a lot of like single bucks coming through, or you'd see a
Yeah.
doe and then here comes a buck following, or it's just crazy. The one time I did see a big bachelor group, we were eating at Heather's dad's across the street here. And that's where one of my main bow hunting stands is located, and it's on a food plot. And that's where my Tacticam that I have running right now, because I have two others on cornfields that, and the cornfields aren't harvested yet. So I don't put batteries in it right now because all I'll get are corn stalks blowing in the breeze. And I'll get 2 million of those pictures.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so, and so I wait until they harvest the corn and then I go out, change batteries, and get them all set up. But this one's not being on the food plot. I pretty much run it all year. At any rate, we were sitting there eating dinner, and my mother-in-law goes, "Oh, there's a deer out back. And it looks pretty big." And then a bunch of deer started coming out, just started filtering out. I think we ended up counting like 15 deer. And I got the binoculars up. I'm like, "Holy smokes!" And I could see one had antlers from the house. I'm like, "Holy smokes!" I looked at him. It looked like, I swear, it looked like a herd of bulls, like bull elk. I mean, there were massive, massive racks. I'm like, "Holy smokes!" There was one. There was one that had one antler on one side that had four or five, and it went straight up, and then just a little punk.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if it
He's
was
already
injured from the year
busted or
before, or if it injured during velvet, or what. But it was, man, I swear they're probably half of them were 200 pound at that point. I mean, they're only gonna get bigger, leading into the fall season into October. So yeah, so like I said, I'm pretty optimistic because if I can run into a few of those, man, it's gonna be a really good hunting season. So
oh yeah. So have you changed anything from last year compared to this year, or are you still running everything pretty much the same?
I'm gonna run everything the same because I had so much success last year. I told you last year that every time I went out, I had seen a buck that I could have shot. A quality buck. I saw a lot of quality bucks last year.
Yeah,
In terms of opportunities to shoot those quality bucks, that's a different story. Again, part of it is luck too. You sit there for long enough, and they don't act exactly the way you hope that they do, and sometimes they do act exactly the way, and that's where you get your opportunity to harvest a nice mature animal. It typically, I mean, even typically with the older ones, it doesn't come as easy as you hope, right?
right.
But because I was getting so many, I was seeing so many quality deer. I thought I'm not going to change a thing. The only thing I wanted to change was that I wanted to mow our food plot down 2 weeks ago because it was getting really tall, and I wasn't seeing as many deer, so I didn't know if they were scooting underneath and they just weren't catching it on camera. I started walking out there and ran into a beehive. I'm like, yep, not gonna deal with
Oh,
bees right now.
yeah. I'm
So
good.
I go out there. Well, in that day, I ran into a whole bunch of beehives around the property, and when I went over there to go mow and stepped into that one, I'm like, yeah, I'm done with bees for the day. So anyway, yeah. So, but that was the
Yeah.
only thing I was gonna really change. And we'll see. We'll see. I had a thought today because I was driving by a soybean field, and the soybeans are already starting to turn yellow, and they'll be ready to harvest here probably within the next month or two. And again, it seems quick, seems sped up. Our cornfields look like they could be harvested right now. So
Really.
yeah, yeah. So my thought was, what if we plowed up the food plot and put soybeans out there next year just to see, just let them grow and see what happens. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the year goes, and then I'll make that decision after. So
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Some good activity, it sounds like, for sure.
yeah,
If
yep,
it ain't broke, don't fix it. I do have to fix some stuff because my my system from last year is broke. And if Ryan Reading is listening to this, he's nodding his head right now because um yeah, it's definitely a cat and mouse game down here, but and I've talked bits and pieces about it on the show, but down here in Texas, we're allowed to hunt over feeders. We do hunt over feeders over
yep,
bait
yep,
down here, but come pre-rut into the rut, you might still have some does hitting your feeders, but you're not going to shoot unless it's just by chance. You're not going to
yeah,
shoot a big buck over feeders. So that's what I'm trying to change right now is I've got some cameras running on some different trails, going like from some of our hunted spots and our setups back toward their bedding. And then also kind of based on where we saw bucks moving during the rut last year. And I'm kind of
right,
watching these trails and monitoring these trails to try and figure out which ones I want to hunt, come come that rut time, because I don't plan on being in a stand over a feeder during the rut. I plan on being
yeah, because
in
they
a
move.
tree
Yeah,
on a trail somewhere, coming in or out of a doe bedding area, because
yeah,
that seemed to be where we were at a distance watching all of our bucks move to last
exactly.
year. So
And
we're
they're not
gonna
thinking about food during the rut. Yeah,
no, they're not. Then, and I mean, even our does that like I have one stand that, in any given hunt, you might see, 5 to 10 different does at. Um, Even that stand, you're lucky to see one or two during the rut just because the bucks are pushing them and they're outside of their normal routines. So even with that, I'm like, okay, I gotta find different spots, but then I'm also trying to navigate different spots on
yep,
807 acres and figure
yep,
out, okay, and that's a decision I'll have to make as we get closer to the rut and I actually see what that exact rut activity looks like and where those bucks are actually moving during the rut. I'll
exactly.
have to decide, okay, where am I going to prioritize my sits? Where on the property am
Yep.
I going to be? What buck am I going to try to hunt? All that kind of stuff. So,
So I was going to say, if Ryan is watching this, Ryan, I know exactly where to sit on my property.
little bit of an
Little
inside joke there.
inside joke. Yep.
So, but
one
you
thing,
go
one
ahead.
thing I just mentioned to Heather yesterday was that with not having as many deer on video right now, or on our camera over there right now, I should climb up in that stand because the um, the chance I had to shoot at the biggest buck, or the opportunity I had to shoot the biggest buck last year, the buck came out at 25 yards, stood there broadside. And when I pulled back, I had another little 8 point below me. When I pulled back, he saw me, looked right up. So he spun and went boom, boom. He bounded off and then stood in this one spot out in front of my stand, like completely away from me. And I ranged him at like 37 yards, 40 yards. And so one thing I said to Heather, I go, what if, since we're not getting deer on camera right now, what if I crawl up there at some point, throw my target out there, and just start shooting those longer distances to get a better feel for how to aim on a target, or what pins, where exactly to place the pin, and that sort of thing, just to build my confidence and feel comfortable shooting
Yeah.
out of a stand in case I have that same opportunity. Like I said, that guy was a monster, but I screwed up a little bit. This 8 point, I knew it was right below me. Excuse me. But as soon as I drew, I didn't think he was even looking at me. As soon as I drew, his head popped up and went whoop right up at me. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that do that, or try to do that. If folks are listening to this podcast, I don't know, you might get some haters that are like, "Oh no, it's too close to the season for him to be doing that. Should have been doing that a month ago or whatever." But I
Yeah.
mean, you know your property, you know your deer, man, and as far
Right.
as just the analyzing it from the archery standpoint, it's
Right.
definitely practical. It's the same as, I know that like saddle hunter guys, they do that a lot. They go out there and, in the summer and set up their saddle rigs and make sure they have it all worked out the way they want it to be in the tree they want to be in and stuff. And they might take their target and their bow out there too. So
Exactly.
definitely can, like you just said, give you an extra level of confidence as a bow hunter. So
And as I mentioned, Marissa and I were talking about that one of in our couch chat, that if you scare a deer or spook it off, their curiosity is going to bring them right back, unless they're in a mature deer and they know that the sound of a gun and the whizzing of a bullet or an arrow,
yeah.
they're educated by that. But if they haven't been shot at yet, they're going to come back, just because they're curious, and that's what their routine is. That's what they're familiar with, and until something scares them off. And so, like, really scares them off, not just me walking up there. And so, like I said,
Yeah.
I used to be that person that would put apples on my boots just to try to cover my scent. I would, right after they spread manure in the field, I'd walk out in the middle of the field to get as much manure as I could all over my clothing to kind of cover my scent up as well. Heather really didn't like it when I walked back in the house and then hung the clothes up.
Yeah, you might be leaving your hoop camo outside.
Yeah, my scent was covered. But and then I was also one that the minute you hit the woods, you're whispering, you're not leaving any scent at all. You're trying to avoid every little twig and every little leaf, and which I still do, because I'm still cautious in that sense. But at the same time, I'm um, not as what do you call it? I don't know, not as religious about it, or not as anal about it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have guests come out and they start, sometimes they just spit. I'm like, you can't do that. You're leaving scent all over the place. Yeah. So, but because I've learned that deer will come back. In fact, I've had when I put apples on my shoes, I'd have deer come right up to my ladder stands and start licking the steps on the ladder stand, looking down.
Really.
Look at this deer licking my ladder stand. Yeah.
It's interesting what different natural covers like that will do, and then also just what I don't know. I know there's a million theories out there, and if I'm being honest, I really don't know where exactly I stand on it. Because and we've
Right.
just with various guests, I've touched on this subject on the show before, as far as like scent control and what all does it matter? Does it matter? All that kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
I know when was it? Oh, I didn't really make it to most of the last campfire chat with the team, but I went back and watched it and tuned in because it was live on YouTube and it was I forget who was saying it, but they were talking about like scrapes
Yep.
and how their
Yeah.
how their dad, it might have been Michael or Lawson on there that
Yep.
was talking about it, how their dad was, would walk back through and
Being a scrape.
pee on a buck scrape, and
Yep.
because and man, the science of this whole thing, me not knowing, it's gonna make me sound dumb right here, but basically like the human element of that, right?
Right.
The
It goes away.
it
Yep.
goes away after like 20 minutes, and it's just the water, like the
Yep.
water
Yep.
content that kind of reactivates that buck scent and everything and makes that scrape seem fresher and everything. Which, that's really interesting to a lot of people. They're like, no, don't pee in the woods, don't pee anywhere close to your deer stand or anything like that, and some guys are walking through peeing on buck scrapes. So
Right, exactly. And so, pea has basic components like most anything else, right? It's got ammonia, it's got water in it, just
right.
like deer has ammonia and water in it, right? But like you said, your natural scent dissipates within a certain time frame. And so what's left? Ammonia and water. The deer smell that and think, "Oh boy, there's another dude here trying to take over my territory." So I
Right.
need to start working this a little bit more. The story I told shortly after that was I heard it from a friend. Yeah, I just go out and pee on my scrapes. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna pee on. There's a big scrape right next to one of my tree stands. I'm gonna drink a bunch of water during the day, and go home and go pee on the scrape. And I think I had a football game. I think this is when I was coaching football. So during the day, I drink so much water. Oh my gosh, I must have put on 10 pounds, and I could just feel my belly just like bloated. And I'm like, I'm gonna piss my pants before I get home.
Yeah, don't overdo it.
Well, that's the thing. And then I went out there and just like I couldn't stop. But yeah, so
I
anyway.
couldn't stop. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I read that. So I read that, once that human element dissipates, then again, the bare bones are, it's just urine, and they don't know exactly where it came from. They just know it's not theirs and it's foreign. So,
Right, exactly. Yeah. So you've talked a little bit about just bow hunting and some stuff relevant to being a bow hunter, but what's your archery setup look like this year?
archery setup, I'm using that Prime bow. It was a Prime
The
XX.
Revix?
Yeah, Revix. Yep.
The Revix,
Using the
yeah.
Prime Revix, which is incredible. I know Anthony switched to that as well. Last year we used an Elite. Not that Elite's a bad bow, but I wanted to try something different. And man, right out of the box, I did that one shot challenge. I put the scope on it. I shot it at 20 yards. Made one adjustment. I'm sorry, shot it at 10 yards. Made one adjustment. Was dead on after that one adjustment. Went back, shot one at 20 yards. I'm like, all right, let's try it. So that was only like my third or fourth shot with using that bow, and I smoked that bottle cap. So
That's awesome, man.
I'm
Yeah.
like, holy cow, that was so easy to get set up. I, I'm a big fan of the let off. I told you that before. In fact, that buck last year, I had one using my elite. When I drew back, he jumped off and then stood there, and I stood there forever because he was looking back up at me over his shoulder. And I sat there and sat there and sat there to the point where I pulled it away from my face and actually sat on my knee at full draw, just waiting, 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 waiting. And that's what I like. My old bow I used to shoot prior to getting an elite, was it didn't have that let off, and so I'd pull back. It seemed like right away, almost right away, I'd start sawing, and
Yeah,
that
you're
throws
jumping. Yeah.
throws a lot of stuff off, throws your whole technique off. It throws a lot of the things that you need to be consistent as an archer. So I really like the let off, and that's what I found out of this elite, or the I'm sorry, the
The
prime.
prime. Yeah.
Yeah, I can sit there. In fact, when I was out shooting, I pull back, and actually I was shooting with Piper, and I pull back, she'd ask me a question, I'd sit there and answer her and then get settled again, and it's like it was nothing, and
That's
shoot.
awesome.
So yeah, love the let off, love how easy it was to set up, love the color, love how lightweight it is. I've talked about this in the past too. I like lightweight, shorter bows because I like to be able to maneuver around in the stand,
Yeah.
especially once you get to full draw. I like to be able to, oh shoot, there's a limb, just turn a little bit and I'm underneath it.
Yeah.
Um, so I liked how I like all those components of it, and so I'm excited to see what happens. And I know the arrows I've been shooting, so I've been shooting a Black Eagle Spartan arrow, and man, I'm getting a ton of penetration. I know, again, a couple summers ago, I was shooting a bunch of different arrows just because I wanted to figure out which one I get the most penetration with. And so last year I shot a doe with a Spartan, got a complete pass through, and that was the only deer I shot with that Spartan arrow. So I'm switching to those arrows this year, using those arrows. So
Awesome.
yep, yep,
Yeah. That prime is pretty awesome. I think there's been five people that I'm aware of on our
mhm,
team that have switched to him now. Myself and you,
right,
Nick, Drew, and Anthony
Anthony.
are the five I know for sure. And like you mentioned, I had no issues with my elite bow or anything like that. It shot great for me, and
Mhm,
elite shot great for me. If I think we had them, we're affiliated with them for 7 years.
yep,
And just things, dynamics and relationships in this industry always change and come and
sure,
go. And it was time for something new. And thanks to our friend Justin over at Bear River, we were able to get some
that's
new
awesome.
some new equipment in our hands and everything. And for we're not exclusive with Prime. Our team can shoot whatever they want, but the five of us at
Right.
least have chosen that bow. And man, for me, it was the draw cycle and the let off, being able just being rock solid and
Yep.
effortless at full draw
Yep.
for me as well. Which I know that there's a lot of bows out there these days with the way technology is that are like that.
Sure.
But where I felt the biggest difference was I love the way the bow balanced
Mm-hmm.
physically in my
Mm-hmm.
hand and aligned with me as an archer.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, and this sounds so simple, but the grip was next level. Because I went to Bear River, I went to the shop, I shot a few different brands of bows, kind of seeing what I might like. And with Prime, those grips were just it just fit my hand in the way I hold a bow so
Right.
great. And I have struggled with that my entire archery career. I've shot Hoyt, Matthews, Elite, and
Mm-hmm.
Prime. I used to work in a bow shop, so even though I didn't own any, I would
You had
whether
access. Yeah.
I had access to them or I was tuning,
Uh-huh.
every brand out there. And I always struggled to find a grip that I was happy with. When I had my Hoyts, I had a custom grip on those bows so that I wouldn't just be torquing the crap out of them,
Right.
just the way I
Right.
grip them. Matthews was okay, Elite was okay, but still, I had to do a lot of left to right tuning on the paper tune rack to get that and be very mindful of
Right.
how I grip that bow every single time. And when I picked up that prime and shot, I was like, man, this feels different. This is way more comfortable in the hand for me. And then when we paper tuned it, it was two shots through paper and it was done. And the only adjustment we made was an up and down adjustment. There was no left and right adjustment needed. And so for
Gotcha.
me, I was like, okay, that's showing me that, I'm this bow fits me. I'm shooting it well. I'm gripping it well.
Right.
This is going to work. So been very, very happy with it. But
Yeah, they got it paper tuned as well when I got it set up. But the big selling point to me was, like I said, the third or fourth shot, and I'm able to hit something that big
yeah,
from 20 yards. I'm like,
yeah,
oh boy. And my whole thought was, listen, this is early. I haven't shot this bow a lot. I'm not even used to this bow yet. Not real comfortable with it yet, only because I shot it 3 or 4 times. I'm gonna miss, but hey, I'm gonna try it anyway. It's just whoa, okay. So
yeah.
it's the real deal. But you also mentioned how comfortable it is in your hand, and one of the things that I had mentioned to you in the past, it seems like I always shoot left. So for me, when I shoot at something, I got to aim a little further right. Now, when you're out in the woods and you're shooting an animal, you don't have to be as particular as when you're competing with archery, because you have the different scoring rings, right? And so you got to be a little bit more finicky on exactly what's going on with your technique and that sort of thing. So doesn't make a huge difference when you're in the field. But for me, I'm a person that wants to be like spot on perfect, with my shooting, with my technique and everything. And I always had to aim a little right because I always hit left and I couldn't figure out why. And then I saw a picture. I think I mentioned this to you. And in the picture, I could see my hand was like this. So my
Oh,
hand was going left. And I'm like, oh, what the heck? And so my thought was, well, maybe I should pay attention to the level and see what's going on. Sure enough, you could see on the level that it was pushing
yeah.
that way. And so one of the things that stuck out to me with the prime was that when making that adjustment, it was almost effortless and it leveled right off very quickly, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and like I said, very comfortable and very easy to make the adjustments. So,
Yeah, it's been an absolute dream to shoot so far. I got no complaints about it at all. I love the bow.
uh-huh.
I ended up changing everything this year, with the exception of my arrow rest. I'm still running the QAD HDX arrow
Right.
rest, which I know a lot of manufacturers like Elite did, make one specific for their bow. So I've been shooting QADs for I don't know 10 years or pretty much the whole time. I've uh, longer than 10 years, I guess, pretty much the whole time I've been in
Right.
archery.
Right.
But aside from that, still being the same and my arrow still being the same, I'm yeah, I changed everything. I changed my quiver, my sight, my stabilizers,
Gotcha.
not running a back bar anymore, which took a little I've run a back bar on my hunting setup for so long that it's been like, okay, I have to. And with this one, I was
Mhm.
like, I'm changing everything. Let's try it without. And I haven't put one on there yet. So far, I've been pretty happy with the way that it's going without. So
So I haven't, bless you.
hold
So
on one second.
I haven't really, sorry, I
No, you're
haven't
fine.
really, I haven't really changed anything other than bow itself. I'm still running my CBE microlight scope, and again, just I'm so happy with it. I like to have 5 pins just to have the variety. It just helps me as a shooter to be more accurate. I like the light on it, even though I've never used the light yet. I mean, there are a couple times I turned it on, but you and I have had this discussion about if you turn it on, can deer see it?
Right.
We've had that discussion, and I still don't know. So it'd be kind of cool if somebody who was watching and they had some input or feedback on that to pop in. But
Yeah.
so that'd be kind of cool. But um, I've never had a deer bust me with that on that I know of. But I don't want to take a chance either because typically, right at dark, that's when you get the big boys to come out. But I
Yeah.
do really like the CBE. I like that scope. I did change my colors that I use instead of just going through the bow shop. I went and ordered them online and have more of a fall obsession colored bow now with black and orange.
All right. There we go.
um, so yeah. So and then I've taken apart some other bows that I've had and just I have a stabilizer in the front. I think it's one of my elite stabilizers on the front, and I have the QAD arrow rest too. I've always used QAD. I just like the drop down arrow rest, and it's always worked well for me.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah, I've always had good luck with the QAD. I went this year. I actually moved away from the CBE. I had a CBE Engage hybrid for a long time, which was a 5 pin sight with a wheel on it and or a dial. So that bottom pin, that 60-yard pin, became your floater for longer distances. And
mm,
a couple years ago, some folks over at the outdoor group kind of sold me on the idea of, hey, clean up your sight picture, try this Trek 2V Pro, which is like it's like I describe it to people as two single pins like
yeah,
married into one. Two
yeah,
pins, two indicators on your sight tape. And I ran that thing for 2 years trying to like it.
sure,
And this year I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to stop trying to like this and accept that I don't like it. Like the
mhm,
CBE is fine. I love the products, but I don't like this concept. It's just not for me personally.
sure,
So I ended up this year I switched to I know it's been it's kind of like drinking the Kool-Aid, I guess, but there's all this stuff about the dialed sights with dialed archery and everything.
yeah,
And yeah, I went with a dialed this year, got it from Bear River and did a 3 pin concept. So I got a
okay,
fixed 20, 30, 40, and then that 40 is my floater
sure,
for anything farther out. So far I've been pretty pleased with it. It's a process to get it sighted in, but once it's dialed in, it's very user friendly, and I love it. It's good stuff.
gotcha. So the other reason why I like 5 pins is because I don't like having to adjust one of my pins if they are further out. I like to already have it set. You know what I mean?
Right.
For me, it seems like I'm watching, I'm seeing what they're doing. Okay, I'm getting the yardage. I'm doing that stuff. I don't want to start messing with my bow then too, and not being able to adjust it the way I need to in order to make the shot. So
Right.
I would try to get that part set before I even hit the stand. So
Yeah. Now, the way most of our setups are, like if I feel like I want that fixed ability or shooting pin gaps like I grew up doing, I feel like I want to be able to do that for 40 and under. If it's more than 40, I feel like I have time. If I'm already launching an arrow that far, especially at a deer, uh, I should have time to be able to make that adjustment. So
gotcha. My puppy's yapping.
yeah, that's all right. I'm gonna pause this real quick. We'll keep
Okay.
the live show going, but I'm gonna actually step to the room real quick and blow my nose.
Okay.
Kind of
So.
embarrassing, but if you're tuning into the live show, you're getting a look behind the curtain. So
Oh, Zane called me.
All right, I'm back.
Zane called me.
Zane did?
Yeah, I just saw that. I was trying to get one of the kids or somebody to come in and get the dogs or something because I got
Oh.
one yapping. So I told them to take them out. They're out doing chores right now. So
Take him out with you.
yeah, exactly. He shot a bear. He shot a nice bear. Did you see that? Zane did.
I saw he sent some stuff today. I haven't opened it yet and looked at it yet. So
Mhm. Yeah,
that's
there's the
pretty
other thing.
cool.
Other thing I was going to mention too. Well, in Ontario, it starts August 15th, so they're into bear hunting. Quite a bit right now here. So
Yeah, that's
on the
awesome.
area. Yeah. Yep.
Well, that kind of takes me into the next thing I wanted to talk about. Because like I mentioned at the beginning, this is we're entering a new season. We're kind of talking about, where we're each at, hunting wise going into the season. But the other side of that is obviously fall obsession and what all we have going on right now.
Yeah.
And you've name dropped several of our staffers in this podcast.
Mhm.
Given some reference to our team that we have. But listeners are also, I want to talk about some of the new stuff we got going on because listeners are also hearing you talk about campfire chats and couch chats and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And for anybody that's new to Fall Obsession Podcast and doesn't realize that we're so much more than a podcast,
Yeah.
podcast is just one of the avenues of content we produce. We do everything hunting and outdoor media,
Yeah.
and we have lots of different shows and projects that we're involved in. So and couch chats is kind of you've kind of taken that one on and you're technically the host of Couch Chats now on Carbon TV, which is pretty cool. So
Heather's a director, although her last episode she stepped out from behind the camera and sat down and we chatted it up. So
yeah.
she likes being in front of the camera, but she also likes being in charge, and she likes. I like to have somebody keep me on track too, because I know that sometimes we can get a little chatty as we know with the podcast. Sometimes we
Oh
can
yeah.
keep going on for forever. It seems like so. I really like to have somebody there directing us and kind of steering us in a direction on where to go and how long we have and that sort of thing. So and she's kind of fell more into that role. She may be hosting here a couple times in the next few months. Just so stay tuned for that. We have a couple guests that are lined up that she said she would like to sit down and interview them and talk to them. The idea of couch chats actually came from it actually it actually came from Wayne's World, and I say that because you and I grew up watching Wayne's World on Saturday Night Live, and then of course there
Oh
was
yeah.
Wayne's World. How they were just sitting on a couch talking about random stuff. And
Yep.
it popped into my head during our first snow goose hunt where we were sitting on a couch talking about all kinds of random stuff. And we are just cracking up and laughing and having a really good time. And then suddenly it dawned on me, would there be an audience to watch to see how goofy we can get? Or, to see how much fun we have, to hear about us talking about, yes, talking about the outdoors and hunting and fishing, but talking about a lot of other stuff, not just with hunting and fishing, but with life in general. And so,
Yeah.
one of my favorite episodes was hearing Marissa talk about the advice that she would have for any seniors just graduating wanting to get into collegiate athletics, because a lot of people want to play college sports, but they don't understand the commitment and that sort of thing. And it's really, really cool to hear from a former student that now gets it,
Yeah.
well, we were telling them, hey, listen to us. And she was telling, you know what I mean? So it's very fulfilling. And like I said, it doesn't, we tame it down a little bit more than what Wayne and Garth would, because we have to. But that's what campfires chats are for.
Yeah. So for our listeners that want to check it out, that are curious what all these things are, like, first off, you can go to the website, fallobsession.com, and find everything filtering through there. I probably do need to put something up there on the website about campfire chats because right now that's just on YouTube. But
Right.
um, Couch Chats, Todd's show, is on Carbon TV and YouTube, but it's the idea stemmed from what you just talked about and the desire to have just a real authentic conversation between everyday people,
Yep.
even more informal than this, right? Because on the podcast, I have everywhere from our own team members to, I find people that are local to me or even not local to me that I just come across or run into that I do episodes with that, don't have any media presence of their own at all. They just have interesting stories and stuff. So I have them on the podcast. I've done that before. And so I have that, and then going all the way up to Jim Shockey. Like I had Jim Shockey on the show,
Yep.
a few weeks ago. So, and anywhere in between. So the podcast ranges and covers all these different topics, but we wanted something that was even more informal, more of that authentic hunt talk. And that's where the couch chats thing stemmed from. But then to your point, it's like, okay, well, we still got to have a little bit of order and a little bit of structure to it.
Right.
So how do we get even more informal? And
Or
and but
campfire chats.
yeah, campfire chats. So virtual campfire chats, I think, is the technical title on YouTube. But
Yep.
it we just started doing that live. And that's the only place that it's published. It's the only form that it's published in is on the live tab
Yep.
on YouTube. But we you've been our staff manager for several years now, Todd. You've been
Yep.
and at once a month you have like a staff meeting
Yep.
with everybody to kind
Yep.
of keep people informed on what's going on at fall obsession, amongst our own team and everything. But then it was like our staff meetings would always go long because everybody just wanted to talk hunting with each other
Yep. And hang out
and
and
hang
whatever.
out, yeah, and have a good time. So
Tease
that's
each
where
other. And, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So that's where it was like, hey, what if one evening a month we just have a Zoom call where whoever on the team wants to get on there can get on there and
Yeah.
just hang out for however long we want to and just talk about whatever. So we started doing that. We've been doing it maybe a year, maybe not even that, perhaps.
No, yeah, maybe a year, half year, 6 months, 2 years, something like that.
Yeah,
But even with couch chats, like you said, structure, we still schedule our guests. We still set up that with our
right.
guests. We look for opportunities like when we go to New York here in November, we'll definitely get a couch chat going. We go down to the crane hunt, we'll get a couch chat going with some of our staffers. I told you Kess is coming up. He wants to take advantage of our early doe season, so we'll probably get a couch chat. But then we also I got some so the next person that we're trying to get on is a friend of ours that we met through the park. As I mentioned, he's an outdoor photographer. And he has his own podcast that he does and that sort of thing. And then we have other guests like that. We have a camp host that Heather met that is really into processing and has his own processing business. We were just sitting around when we were camping this summer, just talking processing, deer, processing various game. Like, man, I'll sit around and shoot the breeze with you. And I
Yeah.
go, yeah, we can start off with a focus of processing, but where it goes, it goes. Cause that's kind of where our conversation went. Cause I even said to
Yeah.
him, hey, we're doing a couch chat right now. He's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'll come over and jump on. So yes,
Perfect.
we do still line up guests with couch chat to your point to have that formal type of structure, but campfire chats, if you guys tune in, you'll see staffers popping on and leaving. You see staffers taking their camera to make dinner, or you'll hear wives in the background. How
No,
long are you going to be on that?
yeah. When are you gonna be done?
When are you going to
No,
be done?
it's really cool because it on top of that just being it never started with the intention of being visible to the public.
No,
It started as just, hey, we just want an opportunity for us to get together and hang out and kind of
right.
further build that bond. And we've talked on the show before about the Fall Obsession family, the team that we have here at Fall Obsession being more than just a pro and a field staff like everyone else in the industry, just a number and a system, basically, like how
Sure.
that like if you're part of this team, there's relationships that are being built there,
Absolutely.
quality relationships, and campfire chats helps do that and giving people an opportunity to hang out and get to know each other, even just once a month like we do. And yeah, it's been fun. We decided to go live with it. The team decided to go live with it. It wasn't our decision. We put it out there to the group and they're like, yeah, let's share it with the world. So that's why anybody can now watch them on YouTube whenever they happen. The last one was like what, 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours. Yeah. Last
It was
Thursday
a
was two and a
while.
half hours. So if you're a diehard, yeah,
Yeah.
diehard fall obsession enthusiast, if you're as obsessed as we are,
Yeah.
sit around and watch us for 2.5 hours. And in
Yeah.
fact, actually had one of my friends' moms texted me just before the weekend and said, "Hey, actually, I think it was Friday, so it was the day after our campfire chat." She asked what we were doing for the weekend. I said, "Oh, we're going to go up to the cabin, just kind of relax and just get ready for the busy time, which comes back up after Labor Day." She's, oh, I saw you on a chat show on YouTube last night. You guys looking good. I didn't
Yeah.
ask if she was on for the whole 2.5 hours though.
No, I didn't really make it to most of the last one. Just I had a conflict in my schedule, but I went to go watch it later and I was like 2.5 hours. That's a long
Yeah,
that's a long conversation. But
it's a
no,
long time.
if
But
you're
man, it
if
was a good conversation, really good
yeah,
conversation.
it was a great conversation. You put an earbud in and go to work or do whatever you need to do and just let it play in your head a little bit. And I don't know if that's what you want. I don't know if you really
Right,
want our voices
right.
in your head, but it's there if you do. So
Yeah, we were teasing each other a little bit, and like you said, having serious conversations about, like you said, the urine and going to the bathroom on scrape. See,
yeah, a serious conversation for sure.
so but it was serious in the fact that we were talking about using like doe pee and using scents like
Yeah.
that to try to attract deer in. I think was it Lawson? I can't remember. Somebody was talking about a mock scrape that they had made, and then that's where that came in. I think I was the one that brought up the question, like, "Hey, you guys ever pee in your scrapes?"
Yeah,
And
that's pretty cool.
so it was actually there's some things that were back there. There's a really good conversation with John and one of our staffers from Colorado and Anthony about different units in Colorado and what the hot units are and what the elk are like in different areas and what's coming up in Colorado. So, like I said, a lot of information that people could actually use. A lot of information that they might just shake their head and say, "Who are these jokers?"
Who are these people? Yeah,
Yeah,
why do they have a YouTube channel?
right, exactly.
No, it's yeah, it's a cool thing that we have going on, and like I said earlier, it kind of helps further solidify and cement in that, fall obsession family mentality and culture that we try to build here and stuff, which is awesome. Um,
We
but
had
and
talked about, sorry, years ago. Remember that first snow goose hunt after we got back? And it was like daily. The group that it was myself, Tyler, Delaney, Andy, and Heather. We
yeah,
created a group chat. We were texting every day
yeah.
for like a year and a half straight. And so this concept kind of falls in line with that, and so I thought it was cool that other staffers noticed that as well and really wanted to be a part of it. I think we had what 11, maybe 11 or 12 in the last one.
Yeah, it was one of the it was a big group, a good group of them for sure. So
Yeah,
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 they're a good time for sure. If any of our own team members are tuning into this episode and you haven't made it to one, you need to make it a priority. It's a good time.
and
So
with that being live too, they could ask us any kind of questions, and I'm sure somebody will
yeah.
answer it. I mean, anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
so for our listeners, like if you guys follow us on social media, like we post leading up to it after we put one on the books and schedule it. We put some posts on our Instagram stories and everything, kind of giving y'all a like, hey, it's coming up. Here's the date, here's the time. Tune in on YouTube and yeah, tune in, interact, hit up the chat. We'll have somebody monitoring the chat that can, share any comments or
yep,
suggestions, questions that are asked with the group there and discuss
yep.
them live, kind of like for this podcast. So different options out there for sure. But yeah, that's a couple of the different shows and stuff we got going on. We got some cool
Midwest,
things going for
Midwest
sure.
mindset started its
Yeah.
new season, right?
Midwest Mindset. We're finishing up, getting the episodes out for season two. Nick's got a couple more left to finish editing, and then we'll be doing the finale on season two. And Mike, starting with this fall, he's filming season three. So
Okay.
got some good stuff coming with that. Uh,
In the dirt,
and yeah,
right?
Texas Dirt definitely needs some episodes edited of that, and I am going to mention it too on the podcast because I haven't mentioned it on the podcast. It's public information. It's on social media, but we have a fall internship position here at Fall Obsession that is open right now for a editor and production assistant. So if you have experience editing videos and you are looking to build your portfolio a little bit and expand a little bit, do some work in the outdoor industry, you need to go to fallobsession.com and apply. And you can work with Nick and I this fall on editing some productions and helping us with that and get you all spun up on how that kind of stuff works and everything. It's a good opportunity for sure for somebody that wants to produce content in the outdoor industry, I feel like.
Right.
So
And man, I felt so bad for you today because I had quite a bit of time. So I was working on a lot of that stuff today, as you saw from my emails and stuff, right? And I kept thinking, oh man, Sam's mind is probably just going because of
Well,
all the content that was rolling in from our staffers, which is awesome. Because again, it's that time of the year where everything's starting to pick up. And so you're going to start seeing a lot of variation, a lot of variety in the content that's coming in, and from various staffers. So that was really cool. And I kept adding to our publication schedules, firing up
yeah.
emails. I'm like, man, sorry, Sam.
Yeah, so Todd and I, we just for us administratively, we have a schedule like every week and we update it every week. It resets every week for what content we're going to post on what days and everything for the week. And sometimes it flexes a little bit depending on some variance, but for the most part, we try to give it some structure and yeah, this time of year for sure is that busy season where the inbox is full of
Mhm.
submissions and the schedule's full. We're about a week out, it seems like right now, where people send stuff in, and it seems to be, we can prioritize different stuff if we need to, but it seems like it's about a week before, if somebody sends something in before it actually hits the social media pages sometimes. But I mean that's the time of year that we're in. That's
Right,
that's that's how
exactly.
things go right now. So it
And to throw another opportunity or another plug out there, typically it's the time of year we start seeing a lot of people apply to become staffers.
Yeah, I was going to mention that and let you talk about not only the opportunity to become a brand ambassador for Fall Obsession and a content creator, but also there's a specific kind of genre right now of content creators that we're looking to add to the team. So I was going to let you talk about that a little bit as a staff manager, but
So really, typically we open it up to everyone, like we are this year. Anybody that's interested in possibly becoming a staffer here at Fall Obsession, all you have to do is go to our webpage. You'll see staffing opportunities. Click on it. You'll answer some questions, and usually that comes right to myself. I don't know if you get it, Sam, but I get it, and then I'll send you the application. You fill it out, and then we go from there. Um, we really would love to increase our western region population. Right
yeah,
now we got Tim, we got John, and we got Chris. We got three people. We got two from Colorado, one from California. We would really love to see more staffers out in the western region. So if
yeah,
you're out in the west and you're looking at getting some experience in the outdoor world, don't hesitate. And then we'll take a look at your application. And the big thing is, though, the big thing is, because it's an outdoor media production company, you do have to have active social media accounts.
yeah,
um, because one thing that we've come across in the past is that they apply, but they don't even have a Facebook account, or they don't have a Instagram page or anything like that. It
yeah.
kind of defeats the purpose a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, I think what sets us apart, what sets our staffing programs apart is the family aspect, like we've been talking about and everything in this podcast. But at the same time, we are, that is under the umbrella of a business, and this business does have goals and expectations, right? And that is that our staffers and our ambassadors are content creators. So you got to be able to at least showcase that you are an active participant of the online world and a content creator. So,
and,
but yes, we're looking for folks out west. So
and then a quick snapshot of, just so everyone understands, what we offer. We offer three different levels. We have brand ambassador. Sam already alluded to that. We have field staffer, and we have a pro staffer program. Anybody new that comes in at the entry level brand ambassador position, just because we want to see how engaged you are in the company, how serious you are at becoming outdoor, working as outdoor content creator. And then once you start developing your skills, we'll be able to see that as a brand ambassador, and then you may have opportunities to elevate as a field staffer, as a pro staffer. And pro staffers are typically our best content creators, and then kind of they mentor the field staffers. They actually mentor everybody, all the staffers. But that's kind of a quick snapshot on the different levels that we offer at Fall Obsession. If you're thinking about possibly applying, just know that you come in as a brand ambassador. It's not really, we don't have a lot of huge expectations for a brand ambassador, and we would discuss that obviously. But yeah, it's just an opportunity if you guys are interested, especially if you're out west. It'd be really cool to get somebody from Alaska or Hawaii. Get up there,
Yeah, be
get after
very
some
unique for sure.
Alaskan caribou or axis deer, Hawaii.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome opportunity, and I hope that folks will consider it and find interest in it. And like I mentioned earlier, it's not. We work really hard to make it so that you're not a number in a system or just a name on a roster or anything like that. And I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, you can be as involved or as disengaged as you want to be, as long as you're meeting the minimum
Mhm,
expectations. That's goes for anybody. But we see a lot of people that want to be involved, and that's like I said, just because of the culture that we have here, and we have. I mean, you talked about the different tiers of content creator that we have, but we
mhm,
also like each region, the Western region has a regional coordinator, an
mhm,
individual that is assigned to that region that helps facilitate things and coordinate things, coordinate with people, talk to people in that region, and you are very hands-on, not just with those coordinators, but even with just individual staffers and stuff as a staff manager, right? So, and
mhm.
that I'm grateful for that as the owner, and being. I mean, you talked about earlier just about my head exploding and stuff, right? Because at the end of the day, we we are a very busy brand, a very
Yep,
busy company, I
yep,
would say, and I often feel like we have more going on than we have time to do
yep,
sometimes because we
yep,
also don't do this full time. We all have
yep,
full-time jobs outside the hunting industry, so
yeah.
that that definitely that and family take priority, and fall obsession comes after that. So you gotta be able to navigate that. But
Uh-huh. And not only tiers as content creators, but as you pointed out, you have opportunities in the media production department periodically. We had opportunities as a corporate relations representative, and so we have various opportunities that pop up periodically. So I wouldn't say that we offer that once a month or whatever the case may be. It's just periodic, but there are other opportunities other than just a pure content creator. The one thing that thought was really really cool. We're starting to get into that busy time. I mean, geez, last year I was getting 20 applicants a week through September, October, November. Lots
right,
of applicants. Like the coolest thing that came out of that was we had an applicant from Norway, for example. We had an applicant from South Africa. We had an applicant from New Zealand. So I thought, dang, that's really, really, really cool. Unfortunately, it's hard to do international like that.
yeah.
So,
For other, we're just not to the point where we can go international yet for administrative reasons. Like we're limited on our staff being United States and Canada pretty much.
mm.
And I wish it wasn't that way. And hopefully there's an opportunity to expand beyond that at some point. But that's the boat we're in right now, at least. So
By the way, I think John was talking about John from Colorado again. Again, I'm dropping names, but he's a field staffer from Colorado. In our campfire chat, talked about going on a red stag hunt in New Zealand.
phew,
He
that'd be
said that's
fun.
he goes, that's the next thing I'm working on beside the elk hunt next year.
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes back to, and you've said this in some recent campfire chats, but it's like you gotta, you can have all these dream hunts, but at some point you have to take initiative to pursue your dreams, or they're just only
Right.
going to be dreams, right? So,
You're
yeah,
gonna have a space on your wall forever.
yeah, yeah. You'll be
I'm
looking
okay with
at year after year. I'll be like, one day my caribou will go right there,
Yep,
but
exactly, exactly. Or moose. I think Jim
yeah.
Shockey talked me into pursuing a moose.
Man, if I had to choose, like if I walked up there and somebody's like, all right, you go this way, you can go shoot a caribou. You go this way, you can go shoot a moose. I'm definitely going to go for the caribou before I go for the moose. But I
Right.
would I would consider both of those opportunities to be right there neck and
Oh yeah.
neck, like top of
Right.
my list.
Yep,
That's my
mine too.
opinion at least. So
Absolutely mine too. Yeah. Well, we used to have caribou hunting here in Canada in Ontario. Geez, I want to say so when Heather and I first started dating, we moved out to the farm here. So that was over 20 years ago. You could go to Canada, you could go to Ontario and buy over the counter tag for caribou, and you could shoot two of them. Well, shortly after that, suddenly the province of Ontario decided, no, we can't shoot caribou anymore.
hmm.
And I don't know if that's all provinces in Canada, but I know the province around us, which again, like I said, is Ontario. They You can't do that anymore. So, which was a huge bummer. Yeah, I had friends coming back with a couple different caribou. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. I just wasn't in the position financially. I was early in my career, so.
Yeah. No, it's definitely there's a lot of dreams to be had, and that's another cool thing about the fall obsession team and everything is just that there's a lot of opportunities every year to go
Hmm.
to go hunting with their team members, and I know that at least three of the hunts that I've been on outside the state of Texas would have never happened if it wasn't for the full obsession team and everything. Like getting to go a couple times up to Montana with
Yep.
Drew
Yep.
pronghorn hunting, and
Uh-huh.
Tim's gracious invite to go mule deer hunting with him in Colorado on the family farm, like that. That's stuff that I wouldn't have been blessed with if it weren't for this. So
Yeah, I totally agree. I never in my wildest dreams thought about ever shooting a bird. I was diehard. I was diehard deer. I was diehard turkey. That was it. you know,
yeah,
although turkey is a bird, I guess. But shooting geese. How's that? Shooting
yeah,
geese,
there you go.
shooting ducks, shooting
Waterfowl, yeah.
waterfowl, pheasants. Upland bird. But man, we went on that first snow goose hunt, and it lit a fire, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
Shooting sandhill crane.
Yeah.
Never thought
Yeah.
I would ever go to Texas and shoot a sandhill crane. So much fun.
Yeah. And y'all keep coming back for more.
And I'll keep coming back. Yeah, well, I'll keep coming back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's great. There's just so many opportunities all the time, and it's
mhm.
great stuff. And I wanted to share on the podcast too. Just I know we're getting close to our time and everything, but another opportunity that's been there in the past that we didn't have last year, it's coming back this year, and that's our veteran hunt.
Mhm.
We have we've been blessed thanks to one of our staffers, Waylon Langford. He has for 3 years, and I believe it was 21, 22, and 23. He hosted a veteran hunt down here in Texas. We gave away a whitetail trip for one veteran, and we weren't able to do it this year, or excuse me, last year, 2024. And
Mhm.
this year, as far as the opportunity in Texas, was looking like it could be limited as well. And we had a lot of our staff members kind of
Yep.
inquire about it, like, hey, what if
Yep.
we hosted it here? What if we hosted it there? So long story short, right now we're going to be figuring out exactly where that hunt is going to be in the United
Yep.
States.
Yep.
Um, and who it's going to be with, but we are going to be bringing back our veteran hunt, or have the intention of bringing it back in 2025 this year, and we'll be giving away a whitetail hunt for a veteran somewhere in the United States. It, it
Yeah.
it might not be in Texas this year, but
Yeah.
we're trying to get this thing back up and rolling. So,
I
and
totally.
that's I encourage folks that might have perked up when they heard that a little bit. To go follow our social media pages, because we'll be posting
Mhm.
updates as they come on there about it. There will be opportunities for, if you yourself are a veteran and want to apply to come on that hunt, there will be an opportunity to do that. Or if you are not a veteran, but you know a veteran, have a friend or family member that's a veteran that you want to nominate to go on the hunt, you will be able to do that as well. So,
Yeah, and you
um,
can, our campfire chat really generated that idea when they started, other staffers started asking questions about that, because one of the things that a lot of the staffers were saying is, I'd love to host that if we were able to. And so, again, watching campfire chats, very entertaining, but it's also educational, and you learn kind of some behind the scenes stuff. And in this case, a little bit about the veteran hunt and maybe the direction we may be going in. So,
yeah, no, it'll be hopefully it's going to be an awesome thing. I'm excited about it, and definitely have the opportunity to give back to somebody who served our country.
yep,
That's the whole mission and the goal behind it and everything. That's priority one. Um, and like in 23 we had, I don't know, we had a lot of
right,
applications that we
right.
had to go through,
I
a
remember.
lot just to pick one.
Yep.
And yeah, so I anticipate this year being the same, if not even more. And it is hard to do that. I know we normally narrow it down to like a top five or six, that okay, we got to pick one of these, and it's like we can't. They're all they're all good
Right.
candidates. Like how can
Right.
you? So it's a tough thing to figure out who's going on that hunt for sure. But
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think it was a lady that went last time, right?
yeah, it
I
was
can't
uh
remember
it was
her name.
Miss Bridget Seibert, I think was her name.
Yeah.
She and her husband Larry got to come out and go on that whitetail hunt down here in Texas. She shot a really nice 8 point
That's right.
on the second day, I
Mm.
think.
Okay.
First, yeah, it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday hunt, and she shot that buck on Saturday, I think. So it was a pretty cool experience. I still have some footage that I need to go through from that hunt, and I was thinking about that today. So while I was doing stuff at the
Promo.
house, I was thinking about that today when we were talking about it earlier. And
Mhm.
so I actually went back while I was doing some stuff and listened to her podcast that we did with her, which is episode 168 if people want to tune in. So it was kind of cool getting to really relive that trip a little bit in my mind because I was there. I got to go with them. And yeah, that was kind of cool getting to relive that hunt a little bit and
Yeah.
revisit her excitement and everything, recording that podcast the night
Mhm.
after she shot a nice buck, her biggest buck that she'd ever shot too, which was cool. So
You've mentioned this in the past, but we're so blessed to be able to document what we do because of situations like that. You can go back and
yeah,
relive it, right? We can
yeah.
go back and relive that hog hunt where we were roasting and
Our 112-degree hog hunt, golly.
you're saying you're
Uh,
a bow guy and you smoke that.
I'm
No,
still
yeah, you're just as good as the rifle. You're like a
no, Todd.
sharpshooter,
I'm telling you
closet
that
sharpshooter.
was the luckiest shot in the world. That's what that was. That was the luckiest shot in the world. For our listeners, Todd wanted to come down. It was like July. You were on summer break from
summer,
school.
summer break, yeah, because you want to do a podcast, and you caught me when we were at the fair, and well, you were doing a podcast with Heather, and then you called me, and I was at the fair. She was at home doing the podcast, and you said, "Hey, you ready for the podcast?" I'm like, now? Yeah, do it now. I'm like, oh boy. I don't know if I should because I've been hanging out with friends and
Having fun, yeah.
having fun. And so when you said later, I thought, well, maybe next week or whatever, whenever you're available. And then it just popped in my head. I said, hey, how about I come down and do one live? And you're like, would you? I'm like, yeah. So then I
Yeah,
ended
and
up
you're
plane
like, how about
ticket.
next week?
Yeah, phone plane ticket. Yeah, it was like within a week, wasn't it? It was real
Yeah,
quick.
it was quick. It was like, hey, how about I do this podcast live and in person and I fly down next week? And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah, you flew down and I was like, well, man, I'm not gonna have you come down to Texas for 2, 3 days, however long you were down here, and not offer to at least take you hunting, even
right.
though it was blazing hot outside,
Blazing hot.
112 degrees.
Yeah.
So yeah, we drove out to Texas dirt and popped a couple pigs.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
So,
that was fun. But yeah, that rifle shot, man, I'm telling you, that was luck. That was pure luck.
and you had the rifle. Sam and I sat there with that rifle that he had, and he said, "We really need to get this thing dialed in because I haven't shot it in so long."
It was a new
I was
build,
using your
yeah.
dad. I was using your dad's gun. You said, "Yeah, that one's pretty good, so we're good with that." But this one we need to get dialed in. And we sat and shot for I don't know how long, and we we didn't
Well,
think we had to dial in. I remember you saying, "No, good enough."
I felt like I was like doing stuff on the fly the whole trip, just
Yeah.
trying to make everything work and get you on a pig. But yeah, I had a new AR build that I had just finished thanks to my neighbor, but I hadn't sighted it in yet. And you're right. I was like, hey, you use Dad's rifle. It's solid, always is.
Uh,
But we gotta at least try to get this sight close before I'm willing to go take it out there. So yeah, we spent probably I don't know, 45 minutes or give or take, out there
trying to get that sucker
just
sighted.
on an open like pipeline, clear cut,
Right.
trying to get this thing dialed in and got it close enough to where I was like, okay, yeah, I could probably hit something with it. And yeah, next morning
You
I got to fire off
so
one shot.
yeah, one shot. That's all you needed.
Yeah,
Next
one
week.
shot, 60 yards, iron sights,
Yep,
and
that's
a
right.
piglet.
Yep. Hit it dead center.
Yeah, right through the Boilermaker.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, I could not do that again if you gave me $1 million. I couldn't.
And for those of you that don't know, um, his was about that big.
Yeah, we're not talking a large animal here. We're
Right.
talking a small
So
hog.
the
So
Boilermaker might have been that big. Dead
maybe.
run at 60 yards. Yeah. So
Yeah, you shot yours and I was like, man, I'm at least gonna walk over here and see if I hit anything. Like I gotta at least do my due diligence. And I walk over there and there's just bright red blood everywhere. I'm like, oh,
oh
I
boy.
hit something.
Yep. And yes,
But
you did. That was an easy track job.
oh yeah,
So
no, that was a
mine
good
didn't go
time.
mine didn't go very far, but
No, yours went, I don't know, like 60 yards or something like that. Probably it wasn't terrible.
I still think I hit that monster the night before. I think, like you
I,
said, the way it was dialed in, the arc of because it was too close, the arc of the
I
bullet.
I'm sure you did, man. Like it was that thing's a toad, and those suckers are tough.
Mhm,
Like and I you probably hit him given the angle and the situation and everything.
mhm.
But I know for a fact that hit him or not, that pig was still alive because
Right.
there were two down there in that bottom, and I shot the other big one with my bow in
Uh-huh.
October,
Uh-huh.
deer hunting, and there wasn't a bullet hole in him anywhere. So, but that I still had that other one on camera. So if you hit him, it he was
Right.
relatively unfazed.
Oh, so he did show back up on camera.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. I think it was later, but down that same bottom area, he popped back up. So
Okay. That was crazy too. And man, they can't see you, but he can smell. And I thought for sure for a minute there, you and I were gonna have to bolt or dive or get that thing was
oh,
snorting and
dude, he
jumping at
he
us.
was right on top of us, like that. It's
Yeah.
like I was surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, he's right there. Yeah,
So, but
no,
anyway, to our point, to be able to go back and
yeah,
live some of those mememories and stuff, yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot of
I
fun.
was. I'm glad you said that. I was trying to figure out how did we get off on that.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking about how we can, we're blessed, and like you said, you're able to go back and watch your muley hunt, often, and you show your
Yeah,
kids when they get older and they really understand, and so
yeah. It's been really cool, and if for nothing else, like I know everybody, we talked about dreams, right? I know everybody has dreams, and everybody, like, especially those of us here at Fall Obsession, would love to see this thing just continue to grow and get bigger and everything. And I don't doubt that it will. But at the same time, it's already been worth it to me in my
yeah, for
mind,
sure.
just for what we have accomplished, what we have documented. And I'm not just talking about for myself, I'm talking about for all of our team members that are able to capture stuff and send it in and that kind of stuff. And we're able to put it together and do something with it. That's important. So yeah, it's cool to be able to relive that, and that's stuff that I feel like the I don't know, this generation, like those who are teens and kids right now, I feel like they're going to be the first generation that's like thoroughly, I would say, going to be
Oh
able to go back and relive
yeah, right,
everything because everything
right,
is filmed and documented now. Whether it's a big production or even just, dad sitting next to you with a cell phone,
yeah,
videoing
exactly,
you,
exactly.
everything is documented now. And it's so cool. Like when I was, looking back when I was a kid hunting and all I have are just the grip and grin photos like
Yep,
that's what I have,
yep.
and I'm perfectly fine with that. I have all the memories with me,
Uh-huh.
but there's something different about just being able to actually
See the whole
relive
process.
it by
Yep,
by watching or listening to the whole thing. And yeah, I've talked about that with, especially with that muley hunt, like that's the one podcast that I've recorded that I've gone back and listened to multiple times. I normally don't go back and listen to our episodes after they're published. Like
yeah, yeah,
I'm obviously here. I
yeah.
listen to them in the editing room. So
Uh-huh.
once they're live, I'm like
You've
my
already heard it a
brain
few
is
times.
already 2 or 3 weeks ahead in the
Yep,
schedule on
yep,
what am I recording next. But that mule deer hunt, that's an episode I've listened to multiple times since it
yep.
happened. Episode 166. That was I'll never forget that.
For sure. And actually, we recorded our first couch chat in your living room during that trip.
We
Did
did.
I-
Yeah. Couch Chats was born down here in Texas on that hog hunt we were just talking about.
That hog hunt was
Yep.
on
Yeah.
Texas Dirt, an episode of Texas Dirt, right?
Yep. Season 2, episode 2. That's where you can find that. And then I think we also posted it just as a standalone too. Like
Mhm.
if people just wanted to watch that part, without having to dig through the Texas Dirt series to find it, that's also the hog hunt itself, or when you killed that hog, that is also
Yeah,
a standalone video on our YouTube. So, but yeah, all these experiences documented, man, they're out there forever. Kids and grandkids, future
yeah,
generations can all go
yeah.
back one day and watch it and
Right.
hear the excitement in our voices after we shoot something. So
Yeah.
that's the cool thing about it. But
My kids were so excited they devoured the meat when I brought it home. Yeah, it was crazy. They ate it right up. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
On the airplane in that cooler with a pillow on
Yeah. Yeah, that was another adventure, getting
it.
packing that pig up for you to take home. Putting it in a cheap cooler we got from Walmart
uh,
and putting a pillow in there so it doesn't rattle around
so the
and
meat wouldn't.
duct taping it shut.
When you go through TSA, you put it up there. What's in the cooler? A pig. Okay.
Yeah, a dead pig. Oh, all right.
All right.
They down in Texas, it's not the weirdest thing they've seen, I guarantee you. They probably have some meat coming through there regularly. So
And Heather mentioned to me, it said something about flying. Would you consider flying out to Colorado next year? So we're looking at an elk hunt next year in Colorado. Would you consider flying? I said, maybe. I go, but if I shoot an elk, how am I going to get it home? She said, well, you get a pig home on the plane, didn't you? I'm like, but an elk's a little bit bigger than a
that's a little bit different. Yeah. It might be a deal where you got to fly out there and figure out a
yeah,
a rental car back or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, we'll figure it out though. So
Yeah.
we always do.
Yeah, that was when I went up to Idaho, I was like, man, what if I kill a nice bull, like how am I going to bring it back? So we ended up driving my truck, my big old truck, all the way up to Idaho because just I was like, man, if I kill a nice bull, I got to have a way to bring it back, and
Exactly.
I ain't gonna fit all that into my wife's expedition, so
And
we
keep it
gotta
on
take the
ice.
truck.
So, yeah, and keep it on
Yeah.
ice. So you'll have to have a bunch of coolers and stuff too. So
Yeah, no, I mean we were loaded up with everything, like coolers and all the stuff. We were ready to bring a bowl back, so didn't happen unfortunately. But
yeah, yeah. So
well, Todd, I appreciate it, man.
yeah,
I mean we could sit
always.
here probably all night long and just keep chatting it up, but
Yeah.
we'll at least we'll give our listeners the courtesy of letting them go.
Go sleep. Okay.
Yeah. So,
So
but I appreciate you coming on and kind of
yeah, always.
recording a milestone podcast with us and taking us
Absolutely.
into fall hunting. It's time. Deer season's here, and
You're
it's
here,
going to be
yeah.
a good one. I'm excited. So,
And again, if you guys want to be a part of us, you know, always go and fill that out an inquiry, and we'll get back to you and see what happens.
yep,
Especially if you're
fall.
out west.
Yeah, especially if you're out west. Fallobsession.com/staff. If you go there, you'll be able to navigate to everything you need to learn about the programs, how it works, and to contact Todd if you're interested. Um, yeah, heavy emphasis on not just if you live out west, but if you are an avid Western hunter and you do a bunch of trips out there and stuff. Again, we're that's an area that um, we're not intentionally just limited on. It's just kind of how the cards fall. Where we have
Exactly.
people, we got a lot of people in the South and the Southeast and the Midwest and such, but
Mhm.
we're looking to grow that Western region even more. So yeah, if you're interested, come apply, come join.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Todd, thank you, man. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Always fun to sit down and talk.
Yeah,
So
always a hoot.
always a hoot.
Always a hoot. Well, guys, thank you all for listening to another Fall Obsession podcast. I'll be back with you guys again next week. Catch you then. Stay obsessed.
Stay obsessed. So my thought with that message